Welcome back to another episode of Who Got the Aux Podcast. I wanted to start switching things up and wanted to dive into the relationship topics. If any of you are online and know about the hashtag Men with Podcasts, you would know why I stayed away from it the first year around, because let's just say that, men are expressing themselves very extremely unapologetic when it comes to relationships. Things could be a bit skewed, things could be a bit over exaggerated, but they have a following and a platform, so therefore it's validated because people feel the same way they do. But I wanted to, get podcasting back under my belt, get used to talking and discussing topics before I attacked that, because I knew the uphill battle that I was going to climb. But here we go. If you saw the title, this episode is the beginning stages. I did a lot of research, or I'm currently doing research, and nothing in depth, nothing scientific or anything like that. Just seeing what people are saying on Twitter. You search certain words on my social media timeline. What I see consistently when it comes to relationships for single people looking for love out here, right? To validate myself, I am currently in an almost 13-year relationship, 5 years married. So there's that. You can take it how you want it. That's kind of where my philosophies are going to come from. I got to put my resume out there. One of the main things that I see consistently, and one of the main things that could be a common ground, but each side, male and female, are just so, it's attack. There's no one really listening to each other, is that thin line between settling and having high standards. We see it all the time, right? On the woman's side, man, provide, hold down the household, protect, have a car, have their own things, be independent, be somebody that they can rely on, be somebody that they can trust and be vulnerable with, right? You see it a lot if a man is splitting bills, we're roommates, we're not in love, I'm traditional, I was raised that a man's supposed to take care of the house, right? All fair points for them. Everybody's life is different. In response to that, the men go, well, if I'm supposed to be paying for all this, then I want a woman that's going to cook and have sex whenever I want and, do other things and not nag and not complain and my laundry and all those old school things. Because just like the woman said, I'm old school. The men are saying, well, if we're talking old school, then these are the things I will want. And instead of people listening to each other and figuring out, who people are, they just argue, that. And then you just see the rabbit hole. And before you know it, there's personal jabs getting thrown, blah, 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 blah. So my first suggestion to those single people out there, to those people that have these questions, the thin line between having high standards and settling, because no one wants to settle, right? Who wants to settle? No one. No one wants to settle if they don't have to. And if you're single, you don't have to. You're not binded to anybody. There's no clock that says you need to be in a relationship by said time or said thing will happen. So there's no settling when it comes to the dating game, right? But what I would challenge people to do in this informational age, in this social media age, is a little old school technique. Actually getting to know somebody, right? You hear that a lot. You want to get to know a person. Well, it's different now, because when I see people trying to know a person, compared to when I was doing it, today it's like a checklist. It's like a survey. How tall are you? What do you do for work? What is your income for some? What do you like to do for fun? What's your birth sign? What's your body count? What's your views? And then you go, based off that, I'm not settling, on to the next one, right? But when you actually get to know someone, you're able to get context to those answers. See, a lot of you make decisions off of answers without context. I'll give an example. I have to tell this story too. I won't tell it here. I'll make a video about that, about how my wife and I met, but I met her through a friend. And before we actually physically met each other, we talked on the phone a lot. We texted a lot. We added each other on socials. We were cracking jokes. We were getting to know each other. Stuff was happening in the world. Did you hear about that? And then you start to see how they brain things. You start to see like, oh, we agree on a lot of same stuff, blah, blah, blah. You get to know a person. By the time you meet them, we already got the friendship going. We already got the relationship going. Now you pass the physical attraction part, because that matters. I know a lot of people, it doesn't matter. that's the right thing to say, but it matters. If you're trying to talk about locking somebody down for the rest of your life, you got to be physically attracted to them. That's just, it is what it is. Now, we could talk on later episodes about maintaining that physical attraction as you go through life, but at least from the beginning, you have to be physically attracted to them. My suggestion. But by the time you get to meet them, you've kind of already know who they are, or at least respect who they are. So you tend to look at them differently. So for an example, if a woman meets a man and maybe he doesn't have a car, or maybe he don't have a fresh cut, or his clothes are down bad or whatever, without context, that'd be like, dang, bro, like, what you doing with your life? Like, I'm not selling for that. That's beneath. But then what if you got to know a person goes like, yeah, it's a story to it. Somebody passed away and I had to take care of, so I kind of sold all my nice stuff to make ends meet. And I'm working 2 jobs, going through college right now. And I got this big dream. That's not settling, right? You just caught somebody at a low point, a great person at a low point. Are you going to make your decision like, this person's great, but I'm not trying to be here at the low point? You have every right to. And I will make that clear throughout these relationship topics. These aren't videos about who's right or who's wrong. It's just giving you something to think about, because everybody has the right to do whatever they want at the end of the day. Who they want to talk to, who they want to love, who they want to dump, who they want to cut off, when they want to cut them off, why they want to cut them off. That's not my job to tell you if you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. I'm just saying something to think about. You might catch a person at a point in their life where they're making sacrifices for the bigger picture. That context will make you look at that person and go, okay, this is a stand tall person. You might meet a similar guy, same situation, but then you get to talk to him and he goes, oh, this is who they are. I ain't really trying to, I do my thing. I ain't got no goals. Oh, okay, that's who you are. Cut them off. Or if you like it, stick with them. But I think that getting to know someone has to be more than answers, because I think these dating apps, that's what they do. They just ask you questions and then they match you. So then now it's spilled out into the real world where it's just like, I'm just going to ask these questions and see if we match. And we didn't really have anything in common. My wife and I joke to this day. We have like not too much in common. Not too much. We don't like the same shows. We don't even like the same type of movies. I like mysteries and stuff where you got to listen and Easter eggs. She just like rom-coms and action. I like board games. She hates board games. I like this food. But it works because we like each other. We took the time to get to know each other, and she'll come to my world sometimes. I come to her world sometimes, teen mom. Oh my God. But, that worked because of the work that was put in the beginning. Like, I could have easily asked her, do you like this? No. Do you like this? No. And I'd be like, wow, we're not a match. Right? That's pretty much how it goes now. That I could have did that and we wouldn't be together right now. So I would say just talking to somebody, and the way that you can unlock that freedom to actually get to know somebody is take out the preconceived notions that this is a potential suitor. This is a potential partner. This is somebody I'm trying to have sex with, and just talk to them as a person. Get to know them as a human being first. Understand what they love, understand what they care about, their passions. Because once you learn who someone is, you can accept them at any point of their life, right? Because ideally for most people getting into a relationship, you're thinking long-term, marriage, kids, grow old together. Well, in order to be with a person that long and to maintain that type of love, you have to know them and love them. Meaning that if you get with a girl, fellas, because she got a big butt, let's say she gains weight, has a baby, or go through things where that body isn't tight, and that's all you care about, you might fall out of love, or what you think is love, right? You have to be okay with, I see you in this beauty, male and female, by the way. I want to keep it balanced. I see you when you dress your best. I'm attracted to that. I love it. But because I love you so much, if you're down days, sleepy eyes, no makeup, hair, he ain't got the waves, he ain't, dirty, but at the end of the day, you love who they are, then that's how you get that long-term love, right? Again, like I said at the beginning, I'm going on 13 years now, so I think I can speak on that, but you can argue whatever you want. And you don't get that without getting to know that person from the jump, because I'm here to tell you, who you start dating today, and I'll say more for the young people, even older people, I'll say more for the young, because, if you meet somebody now in your 30s and 40s, people are kind of already know who they are or developing into their older age. But like, we were together since we were 19. I'm 32 now. Lots of things change. Things you were cool with, you probably not cool with. Things that you found attractive, probably not. And you got to figure out how to navigate that and express that to your partner to continue to still be in that same energy, right? That's why they say like relationships, marriage is a lot of work, because it is. It's like you see all these couples, you see the end results that they've been together 10 years, got kids and all that, and everybody wants to rush to that point. And if they're not getting that from the first date or the first situation, they're cutting it off, right? Now, you could probably say my standard is my standard and I'm not moving it. That's fine. I don't know your life. You've probably been burnt a million times and this is where you are. This is just a general statement for those who are maybe getting in or want to get back in, but the climate seems to be a certain way. Try just getting to know the person without any strings attached, just really listening and really getting to know them, not just to go through the motions like I got to talk, like really figure out who they are. You'll like them way before, and then everything else is just icing on the cake. It's like, you're awesome. Oh, we're going to date now? Oh, we're going to have sex. We're going to go on dates. We're going to travel. Those are all icing on the cake because I like you as a person. And the way you get to that point is by actually talking to one another and getting to know each other outside of a social media app or a survey. So to the point of not settling in high standards, no one wants to settle, right? And you can have high standards, but just understand that to figure out which is which, all it takes is just getting to know somebody. I think that's how it worked for us. And you will know. You'll have your context, you'll have your information to make a decision whether this is someone who is great or this is someone who is who I think they are. And I think if more people start having those conversations instead of trying to argue, like I see it every day, like, man, build this and fix stuff, and y'all don't even know how to change tires and brakes, and y'all don't even know how to cook, y'all make it stove top, eating out, you don't even know how to do laundry, and you don't even know how to hang pictures and shit. It's just like they're just throwing these stereotypical gender roles at each other to make their argument instead of just saying what their real issue is. And some do. I'm not going to say everybody, but for the most part, the point gets lost. Instead of just saying like, this is where context will come in, right? Like, I've been burnt in this last relationship. This person did this. So this is what I need because this. And then it goes, oh, okay. That's all. It's not offensive. It's not trying to say you men ain't nothing, you women ain't nothing. It's just we all have our own stories, and based off of what happens might require certain standards, right? Might requires things that to the average person looks like you're being you have high standards. To them, it's like settling. It's like I went this route before many times. It didn't work. Therefore, I've moved the bar up. But if you just come in and go, your bar is that high? Wow. Like no context, nothing. Right. So I know it's a simple solution, but sometimes the simple stuff gets lost in this complicated world. Try getting to know people, non-sexual, not just really just talking to them. Be okay with walking away from somebody, but taking something you learn, a story or just an interaction. Just not everything has to click and be married and go tending. Sometimes people are brought in your life just to spark something else to send you somewhere else. But you're never going to know if you're not talking or getting context and having real conversation. So that's my first tip on these relationship type podcasts. Have some real conversation with the opposite sex or the same sex, whatever you're into, and really get to know them before you make decisions on if you're settling or if your standards are too high. I hope you guys found that informative. I'm going to be coming with a lot more relationship type of podcasts and topics mixed in with everything else I do. That's just growing and evolving the show. That's what I do well. WhoGotTheAux.com, full media episodes. WhoGotTheAux, one word, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and WhoGotTheAux _ Twitter. Feel free to follow, subscribe, share, comment, like, dislike. Don't really care. Once I put my content out for the world, you can take it how you want it. I appreciate all the love and support. And I will see y'all at the next episode. I'm out of here.